It is a Friday indeed. Very welcome to the show. My name is Chantal Olive Akandinda, and well, it is the 25th of August, and I'm super glad to be here with you this Friday morning. And if you are watching before we got on set, my friend, it was crazy. And every Friday, I think Robert programs himself for a workout, but through dancing. And I wish one morning like this, they'll just drop him on air accidentally. Welcome to the show. Good morning. This is UBC's Good Morning Uganda, the Friday edition, where we get to tone down and have a very, very good time, but also giving you all the information that you need to know. And I would like to check on these colleagues of mine and check how their Friday morning is doing with the music that has been playing here. I even had Sonko sing along, so best believe, hey, it's a good one. I want to start from my extreme left. Good morning, Sonko.
Good morning. Good morning, Chantal. Good morning, team.
Still
good morning,
a good
everyone.
week?
Yeah, it is still. And I do project it to be a good weekend as well. But of course, the Friday kind of mood is what we're currently experiencing here in studio, and of course, even those in the background. So we're pretty much excited to make sure that we're going to be inspiring everyone this very morning of a wonderful Friday. It is really a wonderful one.
And in a way, I would like to send special thank you, special appreciation to the selector who was playing the music before we got on set. And that is from me and Olive. Good morning, Olive.
Good morning, Chantal. My goodness, selector, you have my flowers. You know, they say give people their flowers when they're still here. I'm giving you your flowers because that selection, that music that we started with, I love it. But you cut a mass, so that was not fair. Good morning, viewers. My name is Olive Monica Nejuma. I'm so happy to be here with you this morning, here to entertain you, educate you, and inspire you, because that's what UBC does, and that's what Good Morning Uganda is all about.
Well, thank you so much. You're still with us, and at this moment, I wanted Robert to first catch a breather because the dancing here was something else. Oh, yes. And it's at this moment that I'd like to check on you. How are you feeling this morning, Robert, this Friday morning?
We ready? Okay, I thought I was still in Agama. But anyway.
You know, I have receipts. You know, these days evidence is called receipts.
Yes.
I have receipts of you trying to sing yesterday, and I also have receipts of you trying to dance.
Doing something.
No, actually,
that looks like
wait, you guys. This is not trying. This is not trying. This is real dancing.
Okay.
And you know, you can dare me when you're dancing while standing, but I perfected the art of dancing when I'm sitting.
Haven't we all?
I perfected the art of dancing when I'm sitting. When I'm seated, you find me anywhere, I will dance in that chair and say, this guy knows how to dance. Tell me to stand and dance. That is where you get the problem. But while I'm seated, I perfected the art. I'm a full shot in Baragay. Challenge accepted. Challenge accepted. Anyone who wants to dare me this Friday with my dancing skills, I bring those of the 70s, the 60s, the 80s, and even the 2000s. So I'm one person who is talented in that way. But you people, trouble is coming. Yesterday, His Excellency, while launching some factories, banned importation of second-hand clothes. Do you know what that means?
Yeah.
We quite have a number of those on the market already.
Emivumba. President yagambye jikoma okuyingira tuwomukisa factories nezawano zisobole okukula, because you're not buying what we are making here because you have alternatives.
But you see, the challenge in that is this. Is it first of all feasible? Because in Mivumba, someone can get something at as low as 2,000 shillings or even less. And also the quality and also the pricing of Ugandan products. I've tried to buy a few products made by Ugandans, and honestly speaking, the prices are so high. Like, they're through the roof. For instance, you can't go to St. Valley Kudembe market and you get maybe a top, and you might buy it at, let's say, 25,000. When a Ugandan makes for you a shirt or a top, you're going to spend minimum 50 to 70,000 shillings. Now, let's look at the Ugandans. We know that 68% of Ugandans are living outside the money economy, and some of them cannot even afford $1 a day. And these people still need to dress up. So, are you expecting them to be in position to actually buy these Ugandan-made products? Now, don't get me wrong, I am all for buy Uganda, build Uganda, but the price tags.
But also, one thing is, these new clothes, they are more similar. You go to a function, you know, well, as if you're in uniform. From the Mugore,
no, because the suppliers are shopping from the same
Something comes when it is unique. But I also know factories here, for example, spine spinners. They're in Bugorobi here. Fine spinners. These guys, it's a huge factory. They have quality, but basically they do for export.
Well,
not
I do understand that this is a proposal, and I'm really looking forward to how this ends, because ideally, if such a move should be actually confirmed and put in place, then we need to see solutions like, how are you going to handle the not very good quality, I'm trying to be polite, of products made by Ugandans that are on the market?
Also, have you thought about the numerous number of people in places like St. Valley Kudembe who make a living precisely from selling second-hand clothes? Are you going to close the entire
those
market?
are the many, meanwhile.
Let me tell you, in Uganda, certain things you don't look at how many make a living. Others won't prosper. The cat farmers are so many, the cat industry.
Very true. Very
Mutambala,
You people.
Because I was
Have
actually
you been
looking
to
at
St.
but
Valley
you just
Kudembe?
said cat is normal.
How much does KCCM make from St. Valley Kudembe in revenue?
They'll divert to other things.
You see, I was actually looking at the price, the element of the price. When you look at the advantage that the second-hand clothes have is the fact that they are cheaper. But if you're to buy a first-hand cloth in Europe or in the Americas, I think very few Ugandans would still afford. Because if we are to look at the price of clothes here in Uganda, even though we are saying they're too expensive, really, you get to realize that most of them are between $20 to 25. So that is in the region of 80 to 100. That is maybe a shirt. And most of the Ugandans who buy shirts of maybe 20,000 feel it is more expensive. But if we don't take this move now, I know we shall all feel it in regards to, you know, being able to afford certain things. But if we don't take these moves now, then we are known, the Buy Uganda, Build Uganda policy is literally not going to make sense to any of us. Because if you were to compete with products on the market, as long as they are cheaper than yours, and we Ugandans really appreciate more goods that are actually coming in from you, from outside countries. For example, you clearly see people who go out to buy phones. If someone sees a note of a UK used, regardless of whether it is being used by 5 people, as long as it's coming from the United Kingdom, it is okay. So we are used to even using things that have actually been used by quite a number of people, as long as they are coming from abroad. And I think it's the same kind of situation when the government was actually pushing for the fact that we should stop importing vehicles that have exceeded 8 years of their manufacturing date.
At the moment, actually, it's 10 years. So if it's 10 years and below, you don't import.
You're not importing. That is also
are we sure about that, though? Because cars made, how old is a car that was made in 2009?
No, it is not supposed to be imported as of now.
But
no, it can't be imported.
And
the ones which are here were already imported by the time.
But now you can't.
Are we sure about that?
By the time, ideally, that's what it should be. By the time that move was put in place, those cars were already here, and some were already being driven. So I'm going to
others
come here
already
and buy
driven
your,
within the region.
I'm going to buy the car from you, and I stay with it. That's how it stays. But importing those cars is actually not a move that is allowed by the government of Uganda.
On paper.
Yes. On
But it's something
at this
that
moment,
I think it is a move that we really need to push every other day, because you realize unless we make such moves boldly, like Robert has mentioned, we shall get comfortable with the mediocrity.
But I still feel like
the
most of you are speaking from privilege, because if you say $20, do you know what $20 means for someone who lives somewhere in Wikwe down there or Bukedea? They may not afford $20. Haven't you seen children in villages, not on the street, but on children or in villages who are walking around half naked? And you're talking about $20? No, I think we can build Uganda, buy Uganda, build Uganda, and also be able to consume.
If we have the market built, I think we shall be able to at least establish a market
ladies and gentlemen, this is a conversation that we may not be able to exhaust this morning. So let's take a look at our local stories this morning.
And I'm going to start with that very story, where President Yoweri Museveni has announced a ban against importation of second-hand clothes in Uganda. President Museveni said the continuous importation of such clothes in Uganda denies market to local manufactured clothes. This was at Mbale Industrial Park, where he commissioned 15 factories and officiated groundbreaking for 9 more other factories.
Now, looking at the number plate saga, the Parliamentary Committee on Infrastructure has been suspended from investigating the digital number plate saga involving the company's capability to handle the project. The Member of Parliament for Nakawa East, who is also the Infrastructure Committee member, Ronald Nsubuga Balimwezo, revealed to UBC TV that their chairperson communicated to them after receiving a letter from the office of the Deputy Speaker, Thomas Taiwa.
And moving on, in May, the head of state, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, assented to the Human Organ Donation and Transplant Law. Although this law paves way for enhancement of quality of life of those in need, there has been fear that it may fuel illicit organ trade.
And moving on, matters HIV, the high HIV burden, Kabarole and Chenjojo district leadership is calling upon the government and Ministry of Health to put in place a special intervention to tackle the surging numbers of HIV/AIDS in the district. The two district leadership made the remarks during the River Blindness Elimination Celebration in Itwara Focus at Kabende Primary School, Kabarole district.
And we cross over and check what is happening on the international scene. To start with, the president of Russia, Putin, has broken his silence over Prigozhin's reported death, some 24 hours after the Wagner chief's private jet crashed. Russia's president said the head of the mercenary group was a talented person who made serious mistakes in life. Mr. Putin also sent condolences to the families of all 10 people said to be on board the plane that went down northwest of Moscow on Wednesday evening. However, he stopped short of explicitly confirming Prigozhin's death. From the moment the plane came down, there has been frenzied speculation about what caused the deadly crash and whether Prigozhin was indeed on board, as stated on the passenger list. And away from that, World Football's governing body has opened disciplinary proceedings against Spanish Football Federation President Luis Rubiales for his behavior at Women's World Cup final. Rubiales kissed forward Jenny Hermoso on the lips after Spain beat England. He earlier grabbed his crotch as he celebrated at the final whistle. According to reports in Spain, Rubiales is set to announce his resignation on Friday, as he already informed colleagues of his decision. FIFA will look at whether his actions constitute violations of Article 13 in its disciplinary code concerning offensive behavior and fair play. And away from that, Saudi Arabia and Iran are among 6 countries invited to join BRICS as new members next year. South Africa President Cyril Ramaphosa has announced on the final day of a summit of the group that considers itself a counterweight to Western powers. The group, encompassing 5 major emerging economies, China, Brazil, South Africa, Russia and India, which makes decisions by consensus, agreed on the guiding principles, standards, criteria and procedures of the BRICS expansion process during the three-day annual summit held in Johannesburg this week, Ramaphosa said yesterday. Argentina, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia and the United